Draft my pattern. I'm going to need some pattern paper, my rulers. I've got my pattern masker, my straight ruler, my pens, marker, paper, scissors, and curved ruler. Start by drawing a straight horizontal line at the top of the sheet. You can align this with your cutting mat for accuracy. From this line, you can mark all the other horizontal points, like 10 inches down is the bust point, and 17 inches the waist point, and 25 inches the hip point. Square out all these points that you've marked horizontally. Mark out all your body measurements, like your shoulder, your bust, waist, and the hips. You can then label these lines like your bust line, waistline, and the hip line. From your shoulder point, go down 1 inch and mark this. Also mark 3 inches horizontally and vertically. Use a curved ruler to join these 2 points, and this becomes your neck hole. From your neck point, draw a straight line to your new shoulder point, and this becomes the shoulder line. Mark out your armhole measurement. This can be calculated as the bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5. Square this horizontally, and this becomes the front chest line. First, we are going to add a waist dart, so we have to adjust our waist measurement by 1 inch. That's by adding 1 inch to the waist measurement, make up for the 1 inch dart. Then you can join your new lines together by using a curved ruler to join it to the hips and to the bust line, and use a straight line to join it up to the chest line. From the shoulder point, draw a straight line down to meet the front chest. Find the midpoint of this line, mark in 1/2 inch, and use a curved ruler to join all 3 points to make the armhole curve. On the bust line, bust point. This can be calculated by dividing the nipple distance by 2. Mark 1 inch down from this point. Also mark the bust point on the waistline and the hip line, and draw a straight line through all these lines, or join these 3 points by a straight line. Mark up 2 inches from the hip line on this line, and this is where your dart is going to stop. On the waistline, mark ½ an inch each side of the bust point. Use a straight ruler to join up all these points to form the waist dart. On the front bodice, the waist dart starts 1 inch from the bust line and ends 2 inches before the hip line. To create a side dart, find the midpoint between the bust and the waist point. Draw a straight line from this point to meet the bust point. On this line, go down 1 inch, and then from this point, use a straight ruler to join all points to make the side dart. Because we have created a side dart, this is going to take 1 inch from the side, so we need to replace that 1 inch by increasing the hip point by 1 inch and joining this point to the front. Try using a curved ruler when doing this to create a curve at the bottom. For the back bodice, place your plain pattern paper underneath the front bodice, leaving a gap of 1 inch. This is for the zip allowance. Secure this with tape so it doesn't move about. The depth of the back bodice is shallow, so I'm marking just a depth of 1 inch. Also, the armhole is shallow, so I'm using the original line to mark out a curve for the back bodice. So remember to mark out all the horizontal lines like the chest line, the bust line, the waistline, and the hip line. You can safely cut out the bodice now, but you start by cutting out the outline for the back bodice since it's more shallow than the front bodice. You can now trim out the outline for the front bodice. Trace out all the lines on the back bodice. Also, you won't be needing the extra 1 inch on the hip line because on the back bodice there's no need for side gaps. Don't forget your zipper allowance and draw the line through the bodice before measuring your bust point. comes to the darts for the back bodice, the difference is that on the back bodice, the darts start 1 inch from the chest line and ends 2 inches before the hip line. When you finish, you can label both bodies, the front side and then the back side. Also, always double check your measurements to make sure that they are right. Feel free to add sewing allowances to your bodice block. I wouldn't be adding any sewing allowances because when I use it on stretch fabric, I wouldn't be adding any allowances for sewing.